Welcome to the Fantasmagorium show. On today's show, Disney and ScarJo continue to air dirty laundry through a very messy divorce. I continue to pine over Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, animated or otherwise, and in a further effort to ensure the health and safety of the entire planet, PepsiCo and Boston Beer make a boozy Mountain Dew. Let's go!
And we are live.
Hey, Steve, what's happening today?
Well, it looks like you can get Mountain Dew drunk.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later on in the show, but that's what it's looking like. How's your days?
It just seems like I need a Mountain Dew, that's all.
Right? Maybe I do too. We have to wait until next year, I think, before we get those boozy Mountain Dews, but okay. They're coming. Yeah. So before we jump into the news, we'll do what we do every day, which is say, please like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things, hit the little bell, do all of that stuff. Do all the things, please. We do, like we say every day, we love subscriptions, but liking, sharing, especially sharing, and commenting, that engagement actually helps the channel grow, helps the engagement, and that's what kind of the YouTube algorithm looks for. So we thank you very much in advance for your patronage there. Mm-hmm. Also, if you'd like to send in a tip with your comment or question, please do so. www.streamelements.com/Phantasmagorium-show/tip. We also have a website, and I do apologize. The website was down for a while. We had an update to a plugin go crazy awry last night, bad code, and it shut the website down for a while. Luckily, I got a good website guy that helps us out, and he was able to fix it. Anyways, with that, it is all back up and running. Look for over there. You can find movie news. You can find our shows. You can find our show clips. Also, you can find a link to our audio-only podcasts. So you can take the Fantasmagorium show on the road. You'll also find there a link to our shop. So you can pick yourself up a T-shirt, hoodie, maybe some other kind of tchotchke that with our name on it. That really helps the show, and you get something in return, which we think is cool. Do that at www.phantasmagoriumshow.com/shop. All right. So with that all down and out of the way, all the housekeeping stuff. Anything from you, Scotty, before we get into the news?
Just thank you for subscribing and commenting. We do appreciate your feedback. And it's been a great conversation going on in the comments. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we do like that very much. First up on the docket today, Marvel revs up new chapter in animation with What If. If you didn't know, if you were been hiding under a rock for the past 24 hours, the brand new premiere episode of What If dropped last night at, I believe, midnight here on the West Coast. Anyways, I was able to see it this morning. Scotty, did you see the new episode?
Oh, it was like Saturday morning of my youth. I woke up and I got to watch a Marvel cartoon. It was great. Nice.
Brad Winterbaum, the newly promoted head of streaming television and animation, talks the potential of live action crossover. It was a completely different muscle we were flexing. Brad Winterbaum spent much of 2007 sitting in a hot trailer in Playa Vista, California, listening to Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, and Robert Downey Jr. hash out the story for Iron Man. Winterbaum, then an assistant to Marvel executive Louis D'Esposito, often heard the team posing a fundamental question of storytelling. What if ... this happened? Now Winterbaum, recently promoted to head of streaming television and animation at Marvel Studios, is about to ask that question again with What If? Debuting August 11th, that's today, the studio's first foray into animation on Disney+. While animated series of Marvel Comics have been made since the 1960s, this is the first animated show under the purview of Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige, who gained oversight in late 2019 with a promotion that saw him take the TV reins from former television boss Joseph Loeb. In the wake of Feige's promotion, Marvel shelved most of its slate of foreplanned animated series for Hulu, with only MODOK starring Patton Oswalt remaining on that slate, which it started out really kind of cool. I thought it was really going to like that MODOK. I watched the first episode and haven't gone back. It was kind of unfortunate. Anyway, so this is kind of new because instead of farming these things out to other companies, they're doing their own in-house animation now for these shows. So I guess we'll start off with, you watched the show, did you like it? Or what did you think about it?
I am biased because if you put Peggy Carter in anything, I will watch it. I love Haley Atwell. I find her foxy. And I don't think that I've ever seen anything. Even if I didn't like the show, I'm always going to find excuses to enjoy it because of Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
As for the first episode, it was good. I like the animation style. I enjoyed all of the returning characters. It was a truncated version of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and it kind of felt like a trailer for something that could be fleshed out more. I don't know if that's their intention in trying to tease with something that could be fleshed out, or if these are just one shots, great. But that I had to fill in a lot of the gaps of today's episode, having complete knowledge of the first Captain America movie.
Yeah. You know what? It's weird. And maybe this is just because we're doing a show together, or maybe it's just because we kind of have similar taste, but I felt the same exact way. I mean, almost the same exact way. I was pretty mad on the episode, actually. I do like the Peggy Carter character. The animation, I know some people were kind of not jazzed about the animation style. I thought that was okay. That was kind of neither here nor there for me. And the story was, it like you said, it was kind of just a paint by numbers, rinse, wash, repeat with Peggy Carter in the lead. I don't know. Maybe it was just a mood I was in. It's funny because I heard somebody else say it felt like a trailer. And it did. The pacing was pretty rapid fire, so in that way it did feel like a trailer. I don't know. I did not like it. It's not like it's this is trash. It's not like that. It's just it didn't really do much for me. And I'm hoping that the entire series isn't the same, and it very well could be. All I remember while I was watching the show is, man, I can't wait for the next live action show to drop. What's the next one? Hawkeye? Okay, yeah, I can't wait for that one to drop. That's what I was thinking the whole time I was watching that show. So, and that's not what the creators want me to be thinking while I'm watching that episode.
No, and in terms of it being a trailer, it is just a minor tweak that does alter Captain America: The First Avenger, whereas there are episodes that have been shown in the trailer that look like full-on what if zombies. Like, they're going to do Marvel Zombies.
Right.
And there are going to be differences. However, with the upcoming episode of what if T'Challa was taken by Yondu for Guardians of the Galaxy, and what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? Right. That is probably going to play similarly to today's episode. It'll be a retelling of Guardians of the Galaxy with T'Challa as opposed to Peter Quill. Those episodes, I think, are going to feel trailerish and almost cover songy. Whereas there are going to be episodes that are what if this happened, and it'll turn something completely on its ear. I'm not dismissing the whole series, but it's a safe episode that asks a single question and then plays out the rest of Captain America with that question in place of the actual premise. I'm interested, but...
Yeah, I hear you. Did you watch the ABC show, Agent Carter? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that. I like both seasons. I thought season 2 was weaker than season 1, but I did enjoy both. I know there's now calls. A bunch of people are calling for a Captain Carter movie or something like that. What do you think the prospects of seeing anything like that come to fruition?
I don't think that that's realistic. If they go down the route of expanding it to a Captain Carter animated film, great. Like, I thought the voice actors were great. It was nice to get Bradley Whitford back from the Marvel one shot. And so, but I don't see that as being a possibility or a reality. I think that has that door has been closed, especially because Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter's stories are very intertwined and linked in terms of the emotional satisfaction of both of them. So I don't see that as being a possibility. And I think that this is a great half hour. Heck, for me, being a big fan of big band music from the 1940s and the late 1930s, I thought it was a great music video. It was a great trailer. It was a good what if issue. But I don't think it needs to be. It can be expanded, but am I really crossing my fingers, being like, "Please give it to me"?
I was surprised to hear him talk about talking about Brad Winterbaum. I think, and this, we do this as fans. I'm guilty of this too. I just did it actually with you, wanting to expand things that don't need to be expanded, right? Like as before this even dropped, you had people saying, that, oh yeah, so the what if is actually going to be canon, and we can no, what if that goes against what if is supposed to be. It's a Elseworld thing. It's a what if. It's a standalone. Wouldn't it be cool if this happened? And what it would look like. What would it look like if this happened over here? It's not supposed to be part of the MCU proper. Nothing is going to continue on. At least I hope not.
Steve Rogers is not the first Iron Man.
Right.
And so that is something that is cool to see in terms. And you know what? I think about 5 minutes into this conversation, we should say, "Hey guys, spoilers for What If." But and apologies. It was interesting to see it. It was fan servicey. We're going to be discussing another animated show shortly that jangles keys and fan service and references. Yeah. This is how that episode felt, was jangling keys, referencing, hey, Bucky fell off of a train and Captain Carter caught him and he said, "Oh no, you almost ripped off my arm." Get it? So it is referential and fan servicey, but I enjoyed it. Like, I'm okay with fan servicey jangling keys, but I don't think it needs to go any further.
No, I don't think so either. And just for the record, TV shows, I don't consider TV shows to be spoiled. And that we have to put up spoiler warnings for TV shows. If you wanted to see it, you had plenty of time to see that show. Last night, this morning, or just know that we're gonna review these episodes. We've already said that on the show that we're gonna review all of the Marvel stuff going forward on the Wednesday, on our Wednesday show at 1 or 4. So just kind of a blanket warning that hey, that's what we're doing on this show, and so be prepared.
And apologies if we took you off guard.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's a what if. It's not the end all be all of your existence.
Yes.
If you get spoiled for the, I don't know.
No, and I don't think that there are any major plot points that you can be spoiled on. If you've seen Captain America, the First Avenger, then you pretty much know the plot of this episode.
You do.
Just slight differences.
So here's some crazy news. Now, I just want to preface this. This came from a Big Frickin' Robot, and although they do have some really good scoops that have panned out, we don't know the source or this source. They say that they trust this source, but take this with a grain of salt. But this is their exclusive. Disney has cut all ties and projects with Scarlett Johansson. Before the release of Marvel's Black Widow, there were still a lot of people questioning Scarlett Johansson's future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, Yes, there was her fate in Endgame that could very well have meant it was the end of her character.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also Marvel, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
fake death universe and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They bring back characters all the time. Nothing is off the table, except now the actress is suing Disney, Marvel's parent company. The company that she just recently announced a new deal with for Tower of Terror. Following the lawsuit, Disney has been criticized for its fiery public response to the suit, no doubt, and rightly so, and we did so on this channel. Now, thanks to one of our trusted and proven inside sources, we've learned that Disney has closed their ties and future projects with Scarlett Johansson. Huge, huge mistake, by the way. Let me just say that. If this is true. We can count on this meeting. Yeah, we can count on this meaning that Disney intends not to move forward with the projects they've publicly announced, like Tower of Terror. It also means that projects that were quietly in the works for Scarlett Johansson are now out of the question. We are unable to learn what those secret projects might have included. Someday, that'll probably come out. But for now, it's being kept even more tightly under wraps. There are so many lingering questions, though. Before this lawsuit, what was Marvel planning for the Black Widow? Before the lawsuit, were we supposed to see her character again? Question mark. I don't know if they had specific plans for projects for Black Widow, but I do think they had plans for Scarlett Johansson. As a producer, some kind of behind the scenes stuff, and there's always these things like what ifs. There's always these kind of offshoot things that could be explored. So I would be surprised if those were somewhere in a development process. But for sure, Tower of Terror. I mean, we talked about that on the show a couple weeks back. We thought okay, great. That sounds like a great thing to do with Scarlett. Now that, at least for now, Black Widow is going to be, out of the main focus for the MCU. She could go to Disney proper and do the Tower of Terror movie. And I think she was an executive producer on that, and she was going to star in it. So if this is to be believed, and there's no reason to not believe it, it looks like Bob Chapek has basically said, F you, she's out of there, which tells me this guy does not belong in his position. Obviously, this guy, he's punching way above his weight class. And yeah. I for one think this is a horrible mistake. What are your thoughts?
Well, Scarlett Johansson is tied to the character of Black Widow, and moving forward, there were great opportunities. I think it's to alienate someone so talent so publicly seems like something that you shouldn't do if you are the head of an entertainment industry or company or corporation. Right. From the first day that the lawsuit was dropped, I think that I just didn't understand why this was being done publicly. And so if it is true that they've cut all ties, then wow, I don't know how either moves forward. I don't know how Disney attracts talent without everyone knowing that there is a dagger behind their back that is ready to pounce at a moment's notice. And I don't know how,
so basically what they said, Scotty,
the only thing comparable that I have is John Boyega from the sequel trilogy, in terms of, you're not going to Disney Plus me, and being rather vocal about his involvement as Finn and the minimalization of the character. At least that was an interesting thing, and that seemed like John Boyega sort of punching up and saying, no, I didn't like it either, which I was like, oh, you're playing with fire. And now with Scarlett Johansson literally holding a flamethrower and Disney saying you don't do that to Disney, it just seems like a rift. It seems like a rift that if I were in an actor or actress's position, then I would be. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really care how much you pay me, because at a moment's notice, the sort of Damocles could drop on me because you don't pay me. Like, if I lend you $50 and then you say, I'm not going to pay you back, and then I say, okay, well, I'm going to sue you for $50, and then they say, this ungrateful individual. Yeah. It's like, all right, I guess.
So if you're the talent and you enter into a contract, this is what Disney's saying. If you enter into a contract with us and we renege on that contract, you can count on us for publicly shaming you and also posting your salary in on our Twitter page, and using it as a blunt instrument to bang you over the head with. Horrible PR. Horrible way to run a company just in general, but even worse optically. I mean, the optics of this are just horrible, because anybody can look at this situation and say, look, dude, you guys had a contract. You broke the contract. You're in breach. She had every right to do exactly what she did. And
I'm not even the biggest Scarlett Johansson fan.
And I think to take it out on her on other projects doesn't make any sense to me. This is, this was a lawsuit that was going to happen. You didn't come to the table. They begged you to come to the table, and you didn't do it. So of course they were going to sue you. So now, so now that you're going to irrevocably sever any ties with a star of her caliber, makes zero sense.
We don't want to make money with you. We don't want to pay you, and anything in the future that could get us revenue, we're pretty much ducking out of that as well. That's how mad we are. We will cut off our nose to spite our face because we don't want to acknowledge the fact that you're right.
It makes no sense. It just I just don't understand. And being somebody who's started companies and run companies, it makes no business sense at all the way this is being handled. And I would assume that when this all broke, I told you they're probably emergency board meeting where Bob Chapek was called to the carpet to answer some tough questions. I'll bet if this is true, that there'll be another shareholder board meeting saying what is going on here, and why? What are we doing? And I'd venture to say that if this is true, and this is how he's going to run his shop, he's not long for that role. He's not wrong. He's not long for that role at all. But we'll have to see.
I don't want to speculate into the hiring and firing of executives, because that just goes into a rabbit hole of a metronome that they're out, they're in, they're out.
I usually try to stay out of that kind of nonsense too, but this is really bad, dude.
None as a guy wearing a Spider-Man onesie, this doesn't make any sense to me at all. So let's hope that's not true, but all indications point to it being true. Okay,
but let's leave that where it is for now. We'll jump on to our other.
We'll let you know as soon as we know.
Idris Elba joins Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as Knuckles. Now, did you see the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie? I haven't either. Some people said it was good. Some people said it's crap. I think it's probably kind of just a okay movie. I'll have to watch it though.
I just don't think it's aimed at me. It's just not my.
Yeah, it wasn't aimed at me either. And I wasn't a huge Sonic the Hedgehog game player. I played it a little bit.
Hot take. I was more of a Nintendo guy than a Sega guy.
Yeah. Hot off the starring role in the Suicide Squad, Idris Elba has joined the cast of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as the voice of Knuckles, Sonic's scrappy nemesis turned compatriot. Paramount announced on Tuesday. The actor confirmed the casting by posting a first look at the character, or rather, the character's hand, including his signature spiked knuckles. So good for Idris Elba. Good for Paramount, I suppose. I'm not. So I kind of stand with John Campea has a long kind of history in saying that he would rather voice actors get these roles instead of stars. And I agree with that to a point. they're better suited for the roles at most of the time. And it's usually kind of stunt casting, so you can bring either money or notoriety or just eyeballs to your project. So I think a lot of it's kind of stuntish. Although Idris Elba has one of those cool voices like Jeffrey Wright, like Jeremy Irons, like name just to name a few that just kind of it's very bold and smooth and but it's now I may be thinking of the wrong character, but I think this character is very small. So it seems like a very big voice for a very small character.
Yes. Now, but also
I don't know if that matters. But
I don't either, because and with Sonic being brought into the real world in the original, which is basically the only thing that I think happens in that movie, is Sonic the Hedgehog comes to the real world. Jim Carrey is Dr. Robotnik, and that's all I know. So maybe in the sequel, to ramp things up and to not to say subvert expectations, but blah, right. Maybe Knuckles is played live action by Idris Elba. I don't know what this looks like. And more importantly, I don't really care too much.
Right. I don't really care.
It's interesting, but it's I think it would be stunt casting, although I don't want to discount any actors transitioning over into voice acting roles, because Mark Hamill is arguably the best Joker, or at least neck and neck with the best Jokers.
Well, transitioning is one thing. It's a tricky situation, because I do think a lot of times, especially in movies, that roles that would go to struggling voice actors that are in the business go to superstars to try to sell a film, and when that's not really needed. So you can see where it's kind of touchy, kind of back and forth. It is what it is, though. Look, do I think Idris Elba is going to nail it? Sure, I think he's awesome. It's not his first foray. I believe he's voiced characters in a couple of animated movies. I wish I could think of one right off the top of my head, but I can't. So I'll let you do that in the chat. Correct me, because I am pretty stupid most of the time. But yeah, I think he'll nail the role, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I just it's not like, oh my God, Idris Elba's going to play Knuckles. I got to see this movie now. That certainly doesn't spark that kind of reaction from me.
Well, and when you say stunt casting to try and capitalize on the star power of actors to try and draw people into the box office, what was the cast of the Suicide Squad again? It didn't seem to make a lick of difference there in terms of drawing people out, and that was a star-studded cast. I think, and I respect Idris Elba. I think he's a fantastic actor. I would, I'm still, while I agree with Idris Elba himself in saying that he is too old to play Bond, I'm still fine with him playing Bond. And so he was my pick. And it's just a weird, I don't know if it's stunt casting or if you just want a deep and ominous Knuckles for that voice, or a playful Knuckles.
It'll be interesting to see how he approaches the role, though.
Yeah,
so I'm interested in that.
Yes.
And speaking of James Bond, Scotty, if you'd like to plug our show tonight, please do so.
Oh, very nice segue, sir. This evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, you can join myself and Catherine and Steve as we review From Russia with Love on Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns. That is this evening. We will also be going through our favorite of the Bond villain Henchman. Discussing that, and also some of the box office potentials for No Time to Die. We're going through it all. Again, that's at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be Bond-tacular
channel.
On the Fantasmagorium Show channel.
So join us if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another story that's just kind of just a story that I thought was interesting that we'd bring to you today. So Pepsi, excuse me, sorry about that. That came out of nowhere. PepsiCo and Boston Beer come together to create alcoholic Mountain Dew drink. So the story reads, PepsiCo and the Boston Beer Company, Samuel Adams, are teaming up to create Hard Mountain Dew, a flavored malt beverage containing 5% alcohol and launching in early 2022. Oh, boy. PepsiCo and Sam Adams brewer Boston Beer are teaming up to create an alcoholic version of Mountain Dew. Boston Beer will develop and produce the drink called Hard Mountain Dew, with Pepsi has created a new entity to sell, deliver, and market the product. The beverage is expected to hit shelves in early 2022. Hard Mountain Dew will belong to the flavored malt beverage category and contain 5% alcohol by volume. Early images of the product also show that it will contain 0 sugar. So that's good, because sugar usually leads to harder hangovers.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. There's your Hard Mountain Dew.
And just not that I'm going to take a lot of time on this. If you would like an alcohol-laced Mountain Dew, either gin or vodka go with Mountain Dew. That's all I'm going to say. You can do it now.
There you go. You can make your. Are you saying you can make your own?
I'm think you're saying you can make your own.
Yeah.
Well, Mountain Dew, historically, Mountain Dew is an alcoholic moonshine, and it was just taken by Pepsi. So, but if for the history of Mountain Dew, please consult the internet.
Right. So do you think we will start seeing, because this seems to be the big trend with, the White Claw came out a couple years ago, and then boom, everybody's got their own version. Now you got teas, and you got hard waters, flavored waters, seltzers. Do you think we'll see more of these kind of team ups with own products and a malt beverage or beer company?
Maybe. I think that if there is a liquid that you can add booze to, people will find out how to make it, market it, and sell earn off of it. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. So if you're looking forward to Mountain Dew, boozy Mountain Dew, it'll be here next year, and probably everywhere booze is sold.
And if you're in North America and you happen to have a liquor purveyor in your region, see if you can find a 7-Eleven that sells Slurpees. And then what you do.
We're going to have to, we'll have a whole channel devoted to how to make your own booze.
Yep. Ugh. Or at least how to mix your own beverages. That's me.
All right, Scotty. So I'm going to let you read this one. This is a Star Trek adjacent type of news story. So do your thing.
The Orville season 3 wraps. MacFarlane hopes for future adventures. At this point, there's probably not much more that fans of Hulu and Seth MacFarlane's The Orville would want to hear about the 3rd season of the popular sci-fi series, other than it is wrapped filming. So guess what? That's what they got early Wednesday morning, with MacFarlane making it official via social media, saying, "And that's a wrap on season 3 of The Orville. Thank you to our incomparable cast and crew for their tireless and brilliant work. And I sincerely hope this is not the last time we all go to space." MacFarlane wrote in the caption of his Instagram post, with that last line keeping the door open for further adventures.
So it looks like what's going to happen is, I think what they're pushing for is for Hulu to pick this up. Because I don't think the network is going to, obviously. I don't believe the network is doing these shows like this anymore, now that it's with Disney. So I think what they're looking for is for a Hulu pickup. No word yet as to kind of what the temperature is at Hulu for this. It's a fairly popular show, though. So I would assume unlike some of the other stuff that's been picked up by either Hulu or Amazon or Netflix, I would assume that this is probably up there, at probably top 5 on the to-do or maybe list, on the short list, if it were, or as it were, for Hulu. I think you gotta, I think you gotta keep going with this one. I think you're going to get fan demand, and I think this is good for Hulu. They don't have a lot of sci-fi stuff, so this would be a good addition.
We shall see how it goes. I don't have access to Hulu in Canada, but I do know that some of the streaming, but a lot of the streaming platforms that don't show up in Canada, they do have broadcast rights on some of the channels in Canada. So I'm hoping that that's available on CTV Sci-Fi, as it will be with all future Star Trek shows through the Paramount Plus. That'll be interesting. The first thing that popped into my head was, Star Trek was canceled after 3 seasons and they got a movie. McFarlane has made 3 films at least that I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't be surprised if they sort of Firefly it and make a Orville movie. That would be cool. I think it lends itself well. But in terms of other broadcast shows that have switched over to streaming services, I can only think of Community as being the biggest sort of laid to rest show once it was picked up by Yahoo. So I don't know. I hope because the Orville at this point in time is more Star Trek than Star Trek. I love it.
Yeah.
And it would be a shame for it to sort of fade away, but the gap between seasons, the fan base is passionate, as it was with Firefly, and I think that we're going to see sort of an unfortunate replay of that. Although I want to see more Gordon Malloy, I want to see Kelly, I want to see the whole dang crew. I love it. And I just hope it doesn't negate future adventures as well. Godspeed, Seth.
We'll see, because it reminds me a lot of Lucifer. So, and they were on the same network. It was a Fox show. Lucifer, had 3 seasons, went to Netflix, and now has 4 or 5, and now 6 is coming. So, I think the same kind of thing can happen with the Orville over there on Hulu, and hopefully that will be the case.
Hopefully.
Moving on to our next topic, Michael B. Jordan plays a soldier and father in Denzel Washington's A Journal for Jordan trailer. So this trailer dropped today. Michael B. Jordan stars in the first trailer for the appropriately titled romantic drama, A Journal for Jordan, directed by Denzel Washington. I'll watch anything Denzel Washington, by the way, whether he's in front of or behind the camera. The film is based on a memoir, A Journal for Jordan, a story of love and honor by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Kennedy. I think it's Kennedy. Kennedy? It could be Kennedy. It follows the real-life story of First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, played by Jordan, who writes letters to his newborn son, newborn son, also named Jordan, while he's overseas. King was killed in Iraq in 2006 when his son was just 7 months old. But his wife, played in the movie by Shantae Adams, keeps all the poignant letters in a book for their son. So, just the summary or the synopsis of the movie gets you right. So, this is like a cool movie. This is for me. This is where Denzel really kind of shines. He likes these kind of deep character portrayals. It seems like, these are the movies he wants to tackle. At least at first, he's not going for the like a tentpole movies or big kind of action movies, but really character focused dramas in his directorial pursuits. At least as it is as his filmography as a director is today. I mean, that may change, but I think you can't go wrong with Michael B. Jordan, especially in a role like this. It seems really good and apropos. What do you think, Scotty?
Well, it does. It seems like an emotional story based on a true story. A dramatization of that sounds intriguing. Was there a release date that was?
I didn't see the release date. I'd have to go watch the trailer again though.
Sure.
It may be in the article, and I just didn't see it.
It does seem very much like an award season contender. And so, it says that it is going to be released on Christmas.
Yes. Yeah, it's perfect.
So,
Christmas release type of movie.
Yes. And so it does. It seems it seems like an emotional story, and also being able to sort of parallel the father and the son. That it's and also the loss of the wife. Yeah, everything about it. Yeah. Well, the loss of the husband, but through the eyes of the widow, and that does sound emotional. I will keep an eye out for that, and I'll have to check out the trailer.
Yeah, check out the trailer wherever you find your trailers, and also in our group, in the Fantasmagorium group on Facebook, I posted Braun released a bunch of stills from the movie. Looks great. If you can find our Facebook page. And then if you want to join our group, just put in a request and we'll let you right in there. Find us on Facebook. Let's see. You want to read this one, Scotty? The South Park deal?
Absolutely. Behind the $935 million South Park deal, how Trey Parker and Matt Stone keep cashing in. A 2007 contract with Comedy Central that negotiated a 50-50 split on digital rights, including an ad-sharing deal, helped set the stage for rich pats with Warner Media and Viacom CBS. If prolific producers Chandra Rhimes, Ryan Murphy, and Greg Berlanti are worth a combined $900 million via their overall deals, how did Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who oversee one show, South Park, score $900 million plus on their own? The answer to that can be traced back to the duo's 2007 deal with Comedy Central. At that time, Parker and Stone, along with their longtime attorney, Kevin Morris, negotiated an ad-sharing deal with the Viacom-owned cable network that gave the Colorado natives a 50-50 split with Comedy Central on all digital revenue. At the time, digital rights wasn't a conversation in deal-making. Now, as Scarlett Johansson and Disney can attest, it's the centerpiece of every deal as media companies prioritize their in-house streaming services. So that's what it looks like when somebody follows the contract.
Yeah.
Neat.
See? They were smart. That's very forward thinking, obviously, of Matt, Trey, and Kevin back in 2007. And that was, that was really good foresight on their part. But when you have what I think is arguably the best, longest running show that Comedy Central ever had, right, in South Park, they were kind of in the driver's seat there. But $935 million deal is mind-boggling. For one show. But it's not just one show. It is. There's 14 movies that they're going to have to make along with this. But apparently, 2 of those movies are already shot. So, and at least one of them is dropping this year, somewhere. So,
and the only thing I can think of is that it would be interesting to see what the long-term cash value was for Matt Groening from The Simpsons. And see what that looked like, and what kind of although he's with Disney now too. So
right, if you're looking at comps, that's probably the only comp, but it's 2 different deals, obviously.
Of course,
bravo to Matt and Trey, right? Bravo, not only for creating a killer show, but keep pumping out great material, and not succumbing to the winds of change in the not only in the zeitgeist but in the political change in the country, and they usually pretty libertarian down the middle and like to make fun of everybody, and I I like that.
Well, they've
And
always
I think it makes it easier for people to keep tuning in as well.
Well, their satire, their political comedy, and also when you've courted controversy since the very beginning and you've been to the Oscars on acid, it's kind of hard to get canceled. So good for these guys.
Yeah. So we go from South Park to Venom 3. Tom Hardy already has plans for Venom 3 because studio very pleased and with Let There Be Carnage. And yes, Hardy wants Venom to face off against Spider-Man at some point.
Of course.
Tom Hardy is returning to the Venom franchise next month in the Andy Serkis directed Venom, Let There Be Carnage. But the actor is already looking ahead to making his run as the Spider-Man villain last at least a trilogy long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. For some reason, it didn't sound right in my head. In an interview with Esquire magazine, Hardy confirmed he's already planning the third Venom movie. The actor was more involved in the writing process for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and even earned his first story by credit alongside screenwriter Kelly Marcel.
Wow.
Marcel. I'm thinking about the third movie as well, because I think you need to write that at the same time, Hardy said. A third won't be greenlit until the second is successful, but the studio was really, really pleased with number 2. Who does number 2 work for? Okay. So, look. Yeah, actor in a movie wants to do another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great. You know, why is this news? Because I think it tells you a couple of things. It tells you, one, we're thinking ahead. We're thinking trilogy at least. 2, I think if he's to be believed that that the studio likes what they see in Let There Be Carnage. I hope they saw more than what I saw in that trailer because meh. But
really,
yeah, we talked about it.
I know. I'm just always surprised. We talk a lot about a lot of things, man.
Yeah, and that it wasn't. But I didn't like that. Let me rephrase. I didn't not like the first one. I just didn't care for it. I didn't think it was great. I certainly didn't think it was the smash everybody else did. So I'm in the minority there, and that's fine. Broad shoulders. What do you think about Tom Hardy wanting to do 3 Venoms? I mean, it was kind of a duh, right?
Well, and as you said, actor wants work.
Yeah.
Nothing new there. In terms of moving forward after No Way Home, I think it'll be interesting to incorporate Tom Holland and see Spider-Man actually go up against Venom. That's sort of part of what put me off of the first movie. Still haven't seen it. And also it looked like Tom Hardy was accepting a paycheck. Like I thought it was okay, I'll take this one and then get my prestige movie out of the way next. But if he's passionate about it and he's working forward to a third movie, and with him saying he wants to see Spider-Man and Venom fight, then I agree. Like I would like that.
Here's the thing. I know everybody wants to see that, but Spider-Man doesn't fit in Venom. Not this incarnation of Venom. Anywhere. Why would Spider-Man be in San Francisco? What does Spider-Man have to do with this incarnation of Venom? Zero.
But what was he doing at the Tower of London or on London Bridge, like in Far From Home? So
well, yeah, okay. You can make absolutely. We can make an excuse for him not to be swinging the streets of fucking New York, which I think is ridiculous. But you know, that's just me. But yeah, okay. I will grant you that. Good point. But still, why would Spider-Man give a damn what Venom was doing? I just don't understand. There's no tie because you took Spider-Man out of the Venom story. So now you want to put him in a Venom story with there's no tie? It only made sense because of the original origins of Venom. But once you retcon that, once you changed it, what point does Spider-Man have to do with any of it? None.
Well, the same
Zilch.
The same argument can be made for Spider-Man 3 is that Venom, the symbiote, arbitrarily fell into Central Park. Like, there's no the original.
No. But you can't make the same argument because Venom fell into Central Park, but it got into Spider-Man. This Venom has nothing to do with Spider-Man at all. This Venom fell from the sky, got into Eddie Brock, and that's it. There's no Spider-Man. I don't, and in my opinion, I don't even, the look of Venom doesn't make any sense because there was no Spider-Man tie-in at all. So then the look doesn't even make sense. So for me, the whole thing doesn't make sense. So to bring Spider-Man back into the mix now at the end, or in the third movie, doesn't make any sense. Like, okay, well, why don't we just bring, I don't know, The Thing, or you name any Marvel good guy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go ahead and be like, I think that maybe the introduction of Peter Parker, the symbiote, separates from Brock briefly, gets a taste of irradiated spider blood, and says, "Ooh, this is better." And it would be sort of an interesting character development between Parker and Brock.
I'm not saying you can't write it. Any good writer could write that movie.
Sure.
I'm saying it doesn't make sense to.
Well,
it just doesn't make any sense. But they'll make it. They'll make the movie. Obviously, Hardy wants to. I just think it's. I think they missed the boat in the beginning, and now they're trying to say, "Oh, well, yeah, this is Spider-Verse." Well, it has nothing to do with Spider-Man, so it's not Spider-Verse. This is Venom, and then it's Carnage. You have to see the first movie.
Well, I suppose I do. Because
then I think you'll understand a little bit more where I'm coming from. And hey,
I can't,
it's just my opinion. I'm not, look.
Well,
I'm just some idiot on the internet. But
yeah, but you're a great idiot. You're one of my favorite idiots on the internet. One of the and I understand where you're coming from. Thanks, buddy. It makes it. I agree with you that it doesn't make sense, and introducing it this way doesn't necessarily jive. It's part of the reason why I've avoided the first film, but. And I've never been married to Venom. Like, I've never found him that engaging a villain, except for when he's putting Mary Jane in peril.
Correct.
So with all of that set aside, am I still open to seeing Tom Hardy's Venom with Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Well, and if they write it properly, yes.
Yeah.
So I am still Jangly Keys. I am Jangly Keys with fan service.
And look, I'm not saying I won't watch it. I'll watch it. I'm just saying I think they missed the fucking boat with the whole Venom thing. And they just missed it. But that's just my opinion. And like I said, who am I? But some idiot that talks on the internet 5 days a week. Whatever.
Keeps us out of trouble.
Right. Next up. Well, so we have a few more. Like I said, this is a jam-packed news day. We'll get through these. We'll kind of go through these quickly so we can get over to the chat. Blood Red Sky set to be Netflix's most successful German title ever, with 50 million plus global views. Director Peter Torwarth dissects his hijacking hit. Scott, if you don't mind reading that.
Exclusive.
Thank you.
Blood Red Sky is set to be Netflix's most successful German content to date, film or TV, with more than 50 million households around the world projected to watch the film by next week. That surpasses the historical series Barbarians, which previously held the record. The plane hijacking vampire film only released on July 23rd and will reach the benchmark within its first 28 days on the platform. In addition to its global audience figures, which saw an average of 90% of viewers watch the entire 2-hour runtime, the film has also reached the top 10 in 93 countries, hitting the #1 spot in 57, including the US, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, and the Philippines. It has actually been more of an international hit than a German one, having only reached #2 in its native country. Though notably, the film is primarily in English with portions in German.
All right. So I haven't yet seen this. It's on my list.
Yeah.
I just haven't made time for it yet. That and 50 million other things on 3 different platforms lists. But the figures are great. So, well done.
Well, I'm
right?
sure you heard my lilt when I said the plane hijacking vampire film.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write this down.
Now, now we watched. We did see we played the trailer on our one of our shows, and the trailer looked pretty good. So we'll check it out. Next up, real quick, Lucasfilm reportedly looking to cast live action Sabine Wren for Ahsoka series. By the way, thanks for the bailout, Scotty. You had a frog in my throat there. Another animated character might get flesh and blood version, I should say. Ahsoka might bring a fan favorite Mandalorian warrior to live action, as Disney's reportedly looking for an actress to play Sabine Wren in the upcoming series. The young Mandalorian Sabine was introduced in Star Wars Rebels, where she played a key part in the Rebel team of the Ghost starship. I'm not going to read the rest of it. It's just kind of filler. But basically, this was when this Ahsoka series was announced, everybody was kind of wondering, and so some people are starting to fan cast for Sabine's character. Would Sabine show up? Who's going to play Sabine? Blah, blah, blah. I don't really have a fan cast. I'd have to put a little thought into it. And, if we ever do a Star Wars show on this channel, maybe we'll take that up. We'll definitely take that up on a Star Wars show if we do. What do you think of this, Scott, real quick? News?
I would like to refer to my previous sort of distancing with Star Wars. I don't know. I don't know who Sabine Wren is.
Oh, you didn't watch Rebels, right? You haven't watched Rebels yet. Okay, that's why. No. Yeah, my fault. Sorry about that.
So I think it's great for all the Star Wars fans who want to see Sabine Wren in Ahsoka. I love Rosario Dawson, so I'll probably check out a couple of episodes. I will probably watch Kenobi simply because I have a connection to Kenobi, and I like Ewan McGregor. But in terms of this, I hope it all works out swimmingly for the Star Wars fans.
So I read yesterday, just as an aside, that one of the stars of the Kenobi series said that the filming felt like an indie film, like filming an indie film. I'm like, oh, nice. I think we're in for something special with that one.
Cool.
Okay, just a couple more. A24 hosting one night only online screening for The Green Knight. One night with a K only. A24 has announced the upcoming one night screening of their newest film, The Green Knight. The text of their tweet reads, "One night," spelled with a K only. A24 Screening Room presents hashtag at the Green Knight, August 18th. Get tickets, followed by a link to A24's Film Screening Room website. The tweet also includes a brief video from the beginning of the movie of sitting on a throne and bursting into flames, which is awesome, by the way. It's followed by text, which also advertises the website where you can buy tickets with flashing colors that should have been preceded by a seizure warning. So if you're photosensitive to light and flashes, don't be advised. But so if you want to see this, the Green Knight, which everybody should, it's an amazing movie. You can screen it online if you'd like on August 18th. Go to A24's website and they'll have a link to there, I'm sure.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So if you want to see The Green Knight and you can't, because you live in a place that either doesn't have the movie or you can't get to the movies for COVID reasons or other reasons, this will be a good way to check it out. More Nick Cage news. Man, we are becoming the Nick Cage channel here.
I'm totally fine with that.
We do love our Nick Cage. Prisoners of the Ghostland trailer. Nick Cage teams with Sion Sano for a bonkers samurai western. All right, I'm already in. Just samurai western, you got me. The subversive Japanese filmmaker's latest stars Sofia Boutella, Ed Sheeran, Bill Moseley, and Nick Cassavetes. Wow, this sounds great. Nicolas Cage's acclaimed 2021 See the Raves for Pig this summer continues into the fall with Prisoners of the Ghostland, which just released a bonkers first trailer that's sure to give Cage fans a run for their money. The latest film from subversive Japanese auteur Sion Sano Prisoners of Ghostland features Cage as a notorious bank robber enlisted by a wealthy warlord to help find his missing granddaughter in exchange for his freedom. The film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year, where it was later acquired by RLJE Films. So check it out. I haven't seen it yet because I was getting ready for the show, but right after the show, I am going to go watch this trailer and can't wait for it to hit theaters so I can check it out. Because I'm all about the Nick Cage.
Well, who isn't?
I know, right? All right, Scotty, should we jump over to the comments and see what everybody's saying today?
I would love to. If you'll just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, I will be right back.
Can do. All right, let's go and see what everybody said. Oh, there's a lot of comments today. Okay, cool. So we've got, let's see, we're starting with Turge. Get in on the action early. Tip and comment here. All right, awesome. Thanks, Turge. Naladoc says, Nala's got himself a big old vat of cheesecake filling. Oh, wow. Yum. Naladoc also says, at Turge Tiberius Mark, I am promoting you to head of big-ass vats of cheesecake filling. Oh, boy. Todd Michael says, me too. Okay. Todd Michael says, some people not jazzed about the style. Oh, yeah. Some people not jazzed about the style. That would be you, Todd Michael. I know that you're not jazzed. You're not alone. I've actually heard that in the other corners of the internet today. And it didn't wow me either. I didn't find it distractful, though. I was fine. I didn't think it was all that great in total. I was kind of meh on the whole thing. OST TV. I love your Spider-Man PJ, Scotty R37. We'll let him know when he comes back. Yeah, it looks great. Turge says, regarding What If, it was okay. Didn't love the style. Fun, yes. Engaging, no. It was it was so fast and short. It felt like some cutscene in a video game came thrown together. They could do better. Yeah, and I wonder if that's just because they were trying to basically tell the entire movie, the first Avenger movie, in 30 minutes or 24 minutes or however long it was. So I think maybe that's the pacing was off that way. It's kind of rushed. Felt more like a trailer jumping on, from one thing to the next. So yeah, I think they can do better. I hope they do. They probably will get a little better, but if not, these are just they're Elseworlds. It's little what ifs that don't really matter. They don't really mean much. Just cool little, hey, what if this happened? So I don't think it matters that much. Oh, and just to go back real quick because you're back. OST TV says, I love your Spider-Man PJ. Yeah, love it.
Thanks, man. Degrassi Knowles says, if something sticks and people dig it, they will bring it back. That's true.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says, welcome to Degrassi Knowles. And yes, welcome Degrassi Knowles. And welcome Todd Michael. I'm sorry. I'm not here. Sup, y'all. Todd Michael says, same old, same old. Yeah, it is. It was and that's the thing with the What If is that it was sort of a rehash. But it was my favorite kind of rehash because you could make any movie and it has Haley Atwell in it now. And I'm like,
Yep.
I don't care. Animated, otherwise.
Where do I pay my $15?
I went to a fan expo once and she was there and I was too nervous and shy to go in line. I wanted her autograph so bad and I was just like, no, I'm just gonna make I'm gonna make an ass of myself. I'm just gonna do that.
Please ignore the bulge in my pants.
Anyway, moving on. Turjay says to Degrassi Knowles, "Super's ready," or so Genesis sang back in the day. Degrassi Knowles says, if Scarjost ain't careful, good pull with Scarjost, ain't careful, she'll be the next Taya Leone. Whatever happened to Taya Leone?
She had a very successful show on CBS.
That's true too. Oh wait, yeah, my mom watches that.
It still be going. I don't know, but yeah, she plays Secretary of State or some shit like that.
Turge says, Disney will pay in the end. I heard Black Widow's sting is deadly.
Yes, it is.
She did.
Degrassi
Knowles says, Flossie P is my B-dubs forever. And for that, we hope that it continues to be.
Right?
Dubs for Evs. Todd Michael says the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries do not promote playing with fire under any circumstances. Agreed. That is a true story. Don't play with it. Use it with purpose.
Yes.
Terje says, if Disney isn't careful, they will end up with a nasty hashtag inspired by my other things of late. Hashtag Mickey2.
I see what you did there, and I approve.
Well, but remember back in the day when Robin Williams quit Aladdin, and it was like the joke that he made, it's like, we know why Mickey Mouse only has 3 fingers. It's because he doesn't have to pay, or something along those lines. It was a money issue. It's always been a money issue with those guys. Degrassi says, even with such a tremendous set of lungs, she can't carry a tent pole. They're too heavy. I don't know. I'm trying well, has she made anything that was really set the world on fire that wasn't Avengers related? She's a very good actress, and she has some critically acclaimed stuff, but I don't know.
It's critically acclaimed. Yeah, I don't know.
Todd,
I liked Lucy.
Lucy, Under the Skin.
Under the Skin's great.
Yeah. Todd Michael says, her? Yes. Yeah. Todd Michael says to Terje, what has Mickey Rooney ever done to you? His potato bar / restaurant is amazing. Terje says, Mickey Rooney made me ride a horse in an unnatural way. There's your answer. Yeah. Todd Michael says, yes, because there is a natural way to actually ride a horse. I believe the term is bareback.
Right?
Terje says to Todd Michael, does his restaurant have pudding popsicles? Pudding.
Yes.
That is in reference to pop filters.
Pop filters.
Terje says, well, good luck, ScarJo. Show Donald who wears the pants.
That's right.
Todd Michaels says to Terje, I'm afraid Mickey Rooney's potato fantasy is pretty much all potato dishes. There is a link if you would like to check out Mickey Rooney's potato fantasy. Degrassi Knoll says, Campia just ain't my cup of tea. And Degrassi, I'm not much of a viewer of Campia myself.
Yeah, that's, just like anybody, you kind of find people that, I don't know, that are entertaining or not, or, that's fine.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Degrassi.
I don't agree with Campy on a lot of things. But I don't agree with everybody on everything, because that'd be boring, right?
Mm-hmm.
I often watch people that I don't agree with, and more so, kind of politically, but even in this space, in the space that we love, I and not just to try to get ammunition or anything, but it helps sharpen my beliefs. So when you listen to the other side of the argument, it helps me sharpen what I believe to be true and make better coherent arguments. So and not only that, but I was watching this morning and just doing my usual, after I watched What If, I went through the usual YouTube lists, and one of the first ones was another YouTuber who inhabits this space, far more successful than us, but talking about how the physical build of Agent Carter or Captain Carter was yet another example of a war on femininity. And I'm like, wasn't it a couple of months ago that you were going to bat for Gina Carano and basically built the same as Captain Carter? I don't understand what you're... Argument. So it's just, there are people that I just... She took the super soldier serum. What is she supposed to go small? I mean, what do you think it wasn't a Pym particle.
What do you think She-Hulk is going to look like? She's going to be big. And not even...
That's a dumb argument, man. I'm
sorry, but it's also... And not to, if there are people who are going to subscribe to that argument, and I watch not only to find out what everyone else is saying about the things that I enjoy and even the things that I don't enjoy, but also it helps me keep consistency in my arguments as well.
Absolutely.
Because I can't very well say one thing and then I don't like Star Wars. And then when we see a new trailer for Star Wars, it's like, well, I've been a fan since forever. I love Sabine Wren.
Right.
So. Terje says to Todd Michael, gutsy basing a restaurant after the shape of one's own head. Good on him. Hey, you leave the late, great Mickey Rooney alone. His head was not always a potato.
Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Jumping chillikers. Todd Michael says, are we counting animated characters for Idris Elba such as cats?
Oh,
No.
yeah. No, yeah. Cats, I prefer to believe that never actually happened.
The play or the movie?
The movie.
I'm with both. Turge says to Degrassi, I have yet to watch a single Campia thing. Hashtag Campia Virgin Man. Well,
That's fine.
That's fine. Good, man.
Perfect.
Avoid at your own discretion.
Yes.
Todd Michael says, let's not. We can say we did, but let's not count that. I'm assuming that is in reference to cats and Todd Michael. Yeah. Idris Elba did a character in Zootopia. Okay.
Yes, he did.
Todd Michael says, coming soon, Turge and Todd Michael, no time to diet. It'll probably be released before No Time to Die. Degrassi Knowles at Turge, please. Or sorry, don't, please. Turge says, Idris Elba is actually no stranger to voice work. He has done both animated titles and video games.
Yeah,
and I was wondering if he'd done any video games.
Yeah.
Turge says to Degrassi, I'll give anyone a shot till I make up my own decision, but I am in no rush. I have these two morons.
That's right.
For that, we thank you. Degrassi says, pretty sure the Orville Hulu deal is done. And I think I read, yes, I think that is, this season is the end of the commitment to Hulu. We'll see if it moves forward with someone else. And again, that's why I'm sort of leaning towards a movie, if anything. Turge says, the Orville is totally the best Star Trek show running right now. Certainly in spirit. Absolutely. I can't argue with that. Todd Michael says, don't tell Steve, but it looks like a Mickey Rooney's Potato Fantasy will be opening in Orange County.
Is that right?
Steve, there's a link in the chat. There you go.
I'll have to check it out.
Todd Michael says, speaking of Denzel Washington, is Saint Elsewhere streaming anywhere? I'd like to see that old show again. I ducked ahead and he finds out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Saint Elsewhere is on Hulu. Thank you, Degrassi.
Oh,
Hulu has at least 6 seasons. There were only 6 seasons. There you go. Turge says, cheesecake and binge at Todd Michael. Yes. Degrassi asks, Scott, do you get Disney Plus Star in Canada? Yes, we do. We do get that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Although even with those streaming services, there are still rights conflicts. So sometimes we don't get all the content. Like our Netflix is different than American Netflix and all that jazz. You've seen a VPN ad.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says, why am I thinking that there were 8 seasons of St. Elsewhere, I'm assuming? Turge says, remember to smash that like button. It only takes 2 seconds, probably less, and ensures Mickey Rooney can afford more potatoes.
That's right.
Todd Michael says, now if all 14 seasons of Snot's Landing would stream on Paramount Plus, that would give me reason to work or fork over some scratch. Really? Knots Landing? Let's say. All right.
Yeah, he's a Knots Landing guy.
Fair enough. Gazoon tight.
Right.
Degrassi says, doesn't Kevin Morris rep ScarJo's too? I don't know that.
No. I don't. I'd have to look it up again. I don't think so.
OSTTV says, I think that person behind Steve is slightly dehydrated.
Just a little bit.
Just slightly, yeah. OSTTV says, Venom 3, Sting of the Spider-Woman. That would be, if they bring in Spider-Woman, that'd be kind of cool as long as they make it Spider-Woman. That's all I'm looking for.
But
OSTTV.
very good if you're on DMT. Just saying.
Very good. Sorry, I missed that last one.
No, I went backwards.
Oh, you did? Okay, my mistake. Yeah. Todd Michaels says, my new South Park 1,000-piece puzzle should be arriving today. In case you don't know, South Park and Frank Herbert's Dune are my greatest loves. And I did know that. And I'm also impressed by your ability to put together a 1,000-piece puzzle. Todd Michaels says, the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries do not condone getting dehydrated. No, please stay hydrated. Degrassi Knowles says to Todd Michael, Knots is at Warner's now. Wow, a very passionate Knots Landings fan who had to correct. Turge said to Todd Michael, what would a Dune South Park crossover look like? I used to karaoke Sticks Come Sail Away at pubs in the style of Cartman back in the day. Yep. I can
funny.
imagine that being funny for the first little bit and then being
Sure.
completely annoyed by the time we get to the second anyway. But you should post it. Todd Michael says to Degrassi, they only released 2 of 14 seasons on DVD. Apparently music rights and low sales stopped it there. But Knots is my all-time guilty pleasure television. Degrassi Knowles says, if David Zaslav has his way and the WB Disco deal is approved, Discovery, oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. I got triggered. Yeah. He wants the depth and breadth of the entire WB film and TV archive on HBO Max. Seems to be the way that they're pushing, is just the streaming service primarily. Todd Michael says, please, HBO Max, stream Knots Landing. Todd Michael says to Degrassi Knowles, nice. Todd Michael says the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries does not condone falling from the sky. Well, it depends.
Well, unless you have a parachute.
Yeah, of course. Degrassi Knowles says, what if Venom is in No Way Home? I saw that when we were talking about it, and that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm not sure. It seems like a crammed movie to begin with.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says to Terje, we got this covered as reporting that both Denzel Washington and Tom Hardy are up for portraying Little Timmy.
I'll stop you right there at we got this covered. We got this covered is so basically it's complete trash website. Everything there's made up. It's just it's horrible. In fact, it makes what we do here lesser. You know what I mean? It really does. Sites like that just make up news for clicks. I have zero respect. There's somebody that kind of came from that, that blogging sphere where, reputation was everything back in the day. It's really a pet peeve of mine. I really fucking hate that shit. And we got this covered as one of the worst offenders out there.
Well, in terms of the Disney and ScarJo severing all ties, I thought that Giant Freaking Robot picked that up from We Got This Covered, or at least it was traveling within the same circles. That's what that's okay.
Yeah, not that I saw, but if that's the case, we'll throw that completely away too.
Well, they're still having legal troubles. That much is true.
Yeah.
Degrassi Knowles says a cameo, of course, for Venom. Yes, and that if it's I don't know if it's completely outside the realm of possibilities. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it could happen. Anything could happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Todd Michael says,
for God's sakes.
Yeah, and that is something that I never thought that would be revisited. At least not with Jamie Foxx. Yeah. Todd Michael says, ugh, my puzzle is now due tomorrow. Well, don't get frustrated yet. It's when you get the full box and you're like, oh, I got 1,000 pieces here. Jeez.
Where's this one corner piece?
Exactly. Oh, my God. Terje says, I want to turn my lights off. At ScottyR37, could you please say a Google command? Now, I've been admonished online before by administering Google commands over the internet to unwitting people. So, no.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries do not condone putting Mary Jane in peril. That's right. True. Absolutely. Degrassi Knowles says Venom 1 was like a bad 90s movie. The only reason I liked it. And those are
that's what I thought it was too. It was like, this is out of place. This is a 90s movie for sure.
Mm-hmm. Todd Michael says, are you really sure you want to get over to the chat today? Are you sure? Yeah. Yeah, we're here.
I'm completely regretting it right now. No, we love the chat, man. Without the chat, we have, we're nothing without the chat. We always say in our circles. So we want to get over the chat for sure.
Terje says to Todd Michael, "Oh wow, Little Timmy, huh? I always saw Jean-Claude Van Damme fit for it. Never go full." Todd Michael says Sabine Wren is the bomb. I will take your word. Todd Michael says, I never could fan cast Sabine, but I don't know many younger actresses, or at least I am bad with names and faces. I don't even know what she looks like.
You know what? I can't remember offhand the name of the lady who voices Sabine Wren, but she'd be a good. I mean, she'd be good in the role, I think. But I would assume that they're going to find Well, I was gonna say I assume they'll find somebody kind of a no-namer, and bring her up through that. But it could be somebody like Rosario Dawson. You know what I mean? They could go with somebody famous. I don't. It's an interesting question that I guess we'll tackle if the show, if we ever decide to do a Star Wars show on this channel.
Terje says, I haven't gotten into the animated Star Wars. I have digressed.
Man,
yeah.
you have to, man. Nobody has to, but I strongly suggest it. If you're a Star Wars fan of any caliber, casual or otherwise, especially the Clone Wars is really good. And I know it's it's kind of a slog, dude. There's a lot of episodes, but that leads you right into Rebels. Rebels was really good. The Bad Batch, I'm liking it. It may not be for everybody, but I like that. Like I've said on this show, the prequel era is my favorite era for storytelling in Star Wars. So, yeah, dude, some of the stories are really cool, and you can go online and find the order because they premiered out of order. They kind of jumbled up, right? They're non-linear. So you can find orders and how to watch the Clone Wars, but definitely watch it. There's some really good story arcs in there. You get the Mortis arc and some other really cool arcs in there, and you'll see familiar faces like Saw Gerrera. That's where Saw Gerrera came from, and a lot of other tie-ins. So Sabine Wren and all that stuff from Rebels. Harrison Dula, Cham Samdula. It's just really cool. So I would highly recommend checking out the animated stuff.
Well, and I did see there was a supercut of Revenge of the Sith mashed up with the Clone Wars, and it sort of filled in the gaps of what was going during Order 66, and it was like a 4-hour cut that bounced back and forth and balanced it. It was interesting. I didn't dislike it, but I think it was more the grounding of Revenge of the Sith that kept me going on it. But hey, if you're a fan of that stuff, if you enjoy it and you enjoy getting into the mythology of the Clone Wars, more power to you. There's stuff for you to enjoy, and it's no one's place to tell you that you're wrong, especially not mine.
Degrassi Null says Chloe Bennett is looking for work. I always pegged her for Dr. Aphra, though. You know what? Me too. She just has that look, I think, from the Dr. Aphra comics. So I think she could pull that one off. Chloe Bennett wouldn't be a bad call for Sabine, though. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Todd Michael looks at his Sabine Wren sitting on his shelf. There you go.
Oh, nice.
So you're a fan, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Todd Michael says to Degrassi Knowles, oh, I see that. So, yeah. And Degrassi Knowles says, animated Star Wars is the shit, in my opinion. And, yeah, love what you love. Terje says, where do I start? The beginning.
Yeah, go online and look at there's several sites that give you the order in which to watch it. It's probably better. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Disney Plus has a way to watch it in chronological order.
Cool.
Don't quote me on that, but I think so. So when I saw it, Disney Plus wasn't a thing yet, so it was all on Netflix at the time, and I just binged the hell out of it. It was awesome.
Terje says, I have Disney, so I'm ready to lock and load.
Dude.
Check
lock
it out.
And load, buddy.
Degrassi Knowles says, the Clone Wars animated movie, but don't let that turn you off.
Yeah.
Then get straight into the series, Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch. I really like them all. Terje says, Nicolas Cage, Samurai Western, take my money. Yes.
Yeah, no shit.
Terje says to Degrassi Knowles, I'll give it a go. Todd Michaels says to Terje, the Clone Wars, it gets great after season 2. That's what I heard. Rebels and then Bad Batch. It took me a while to adjust to Rebels' younger demographic and style, but I so love the characters.
Yeah, it's really good. Storytelling. Look, I say what you want about Dave Filoni, but he's a great storyteller. He's got cool stories. I mean, he did give us space whales and other kind of farcical stuff, but it happens with it, especially in a cartoon, right?
Terje says, I'm leaving the show to watch The Cage Killer. Quisling?
Trailer?
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says, the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries does not condone shaking a lamb's tail. Yes, we do. Shake a lamb's tail.
If you have to.
If you must. Degrassi says, like I said, you've got to be pretty forgiving to the Clone Wars feature, but I think the series is remarkable, especially the last 2 seasons.
In fact, if you want to skip the feature, I suggest skipping it altogether. And then and then if you want to, go back and watch it.
Terje says to Degrassi, I watch all kind of crap. I am almost as forgiving as a priest.
Bless you, son.
Yes, yes. Todd Michael to Degrassi says, agreed on final 2 seasons. Great. Good. Terje, just want to say thanks for all the likes and comments today. Awesome. We are all good people.
Yes, we are.
Are we? Great.
I don't know.
Todd Michael says,
we act like it.
We pretend on television.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries does not condone pants bulging. Depends on the sitch.
Yes, we do. I think
it depends on the sitch, like appropriateness.
Right.
Yeah. Degrassi says Tom Cruise has to love going up on Miss Atwell. Oh no. Well, if Tom Cruise is with Miss Atwell, that's good for them. I'm glad that they've found happiness. And she's not.
You know what? I did hear that.
Good.
Come on, Haley. You can do better. Be better.
Hey, it's Tom Cruise. The man's the biggest movie star on the planet. It's whatever. Who knows? It's not like they're having sex.
No, yeah. So, definitely not having any sex. So.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to both you and Tom. I'm sure that you have a lovely romantic relationship. Terje says Tia Leone is so hot in Spanglish. I don't know if I'm familiar. I don't know if I've seen Spanglish.
Yeah. She's hot. She's a hot chick. She was with David Duchovny for so long, though.
True. And that's what I sort of associated with, or who I associated her with. Degrassi Noel says Ghost in the Shell. Yep, that was a ScarJo tentpole. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like that movie. Nobody else went and saw it, but I liked it. It's great in the theater.
Yeah. Degrassi says hypocrisy is off the charts and on full unabashed display these days.
Yes,
but all you got to do is try not to be and accept it when you're called out on it. But if you're going to say that Captain Carter's too beefy, but Gina Carano is the epitome of strong femininity, then I think you should try and get measurements. Todd Michaels,
and that's I'm sorry to step on you there, Scott, but it's a perfect example of what I feel is trying too hard to find controversy where none exists. And that happens all too often these days on YouTube. And I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. If you want to attack femininity, I would assume that you should, aim somewhere else other than Haley Atwell.
Yeah.
Todd Michael says, we are going to get that hideously ugly modern She-Hulk and not the fun, happy, silly-ass John Byrne era.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. You're probably right, but I was really hoping that we'd get the John Byrne era She-Hulk or some kind of amalgamation. You know what I mean? So it's not just full on that new kind of. I don't know. We'll see. So I hold out hope. I'm a huge fan of Tatiana Maslany, who's playing in the role. And she is just a tremendously gifted actress. So hopefully she has a little input into how that character comes across.
Well, and also when it's a Disney Plus show and Jennifer is a lawyer. So I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of either comedic Law and Order in the MCU kind of thing, or at least some sort of satire. I'm hoping for that. I'm just hoping it's a little lighthearted. It doesn't have to go
I'd like to see
full tilt fourth wall.
More The Practice or Boston Legal than Law and Order.
That's a better comparison of what I'm kind of hoping for. Mm-hmm. And Ally McBeal.
Something like that. Yeah.
Anyway, Degrassi says Cats would have been a huge hit if they went with photoreal, anatomically correct cats.
Cats with assholes? Buttholes?
Yeah. We can say assholes.
Buttholes.
Yeah. Todd Michael says, Knots Landing guy. Hell, someday I'll post my Knots Landing Transformers crossover fiction.
Yeah, he told me about that once on a Zoom call. I'm like, oh man, that's interesting.
Hey, I can dig it. Degrassi Noel says, I write titles in all caps. Sorry, comes with the trade. Oh, Degrassi, I thought it was a correction related issue. But if it is a title issue, then I will no longer assume what your intentions are. Todd Michael says, funny. I think I agree with you that the prequel era is great for storytelling. The prequels themselves, big time meh. But Filoniverse prequel stuff, moist panties all around. And
yeah, it's my favorite era for storytelling, especially in the books. And some of the Queen Amidala books, wow, they're really good. So yeah, it's just kind of my favorite era for storytelling. Just more rich universe in that era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not as stark.
A little bit more freedom with the storytelling as well.
Sure.
Again, I'm not a fan. I haven't watched enough of it to really establish myself to be a fan or not, but hearing Dave Filoni talk about the prequel era and the importance and the influences and the political intrigue of the galaxy is fascinating to me.
It is.
Todd Michael says, I'm having a hard time not spending money on Sideshow's 1/6 scale Clone Wars animated style Anakin and Kenobi.
They're both beautiful sculpts. The face sculpt on both of those are just out of this world. Look at that.
It's one of those Disney infinities, but I really enjoy the thing. And I've got
it's not the 1/6 scale, but it's a good looking figure.
I'm representing. Todd Michael says the link in the chat. StarWars.com news thing.
Yeah, it's all right. We don't have to
read the chronological order for Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Thanks, Todd Michael.
I got two of them, so I do. Anyway, neat toys. Todd Michael, space whales appeared decades ago in Claremont's X-Men.
That's not Star Wars, though. Just saying.
It's all owned by Disney. Who knows? Maybe that's where he got the idea.
Maybe.
Todd Michael says the Fantasmagorium show and its subsidiaries do condone watching all kinds of crap. That is something that we don't even have to question. Todd Michael says, can we talk about how amazing Orphan Black was?
Yes,
can we?
Absolutely.
Yes, we can.
I love that show.
Not now.
No, but we can definitely talk about it sometime. Yeah, if you watch that show, you'll fall in love with Tatiana Maslany as she takes on, I don't know, 7 or 8 different characters, all believably different. It's amazing work.
Todd Michael says, can we talk about how amazing Boston Legal was? Can we? Shatner.
Yep. Yeah. I was going to say Raymond Reddington himself. I couldn't pull Raymond Reddington for some reason.
Terje says, want to contact the show off the air? Head to the Fantasmagorium or phantasmagoriumshow.com/contact. Please do. Todd Michael says something to you, Steve.
Steve, I need to get your input on prequel era novels then. I haven't read anything since the original Thrawn trilogy. I could go for some new things to read. I will definitely give you a list. I've read a bunch. Almost everything up to the High Republic. I haven't read any of that garbage yet. And I don't know that it's garbage, but it sounds like garbage. What I've heard of it is pretty garbagey. Is that a word? Garbagey?
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, there's some good prequel era books. I'll get you a list, buddy, for sure.
Degrassi Noel says, playing catch up. Business calls. Being a lifelong comic book reader, I'm always down with some well-done retroactive retrofitting of narrative and characters. It depends on the, narrative and characters, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends, right? It depends on... So what it comes down to for me, I think, is what are you doing and how it's handled, right? So if it's handled with reverence and care and love, then I'm more forgiving with kind of retrofitting. But I don't know.
I'm just thinking of the entire subplot of how Gwen Stacy was either still alive and Norman Osborn had a love child with Gwen Stacy, and the clone saw, like, I've traveled through enough Spider-Man stuff to think, yeah, I agree with you so much as that if it's some well done retroactive retrofitting to recontextualize something, that's fine. But if you tell me that Gwen Stacy's still alive and had Norman Osborn's baby, I am going to nope right out of that conversation.
Right.
Terje says to Todd Michael, Boston Legal was totally amazing. I'm thinking about rewatching.
Good.
Well, and Terje, never seen Orphan Black? That is
watch that
worth
first.
It. Yeah.
Watch that first before you do a rewatch of anything.
Todd Michael says, support the Fantasmagorium Show with tips and questions at the links found in the chat and at Fantasmagorium Show on Facebook at the link in the chat. And
also, it's kind of late now, but we should tell everybody at the beginning of the show, super chat function is enabled. We do have super chats and super stickers now. So if you want to support the show that way, you can.
Hey, heavens. Hang on just one second. I switched screen sizes for no reason. Matt Latham says, lots of wrenchy comments. Well, yeah. We've got a bunch of wrenches. They're a dedicated crew. They are. Todd Michael says to Terje, Orphan Black is great. It meanders towards the end, but Masalami, yes, is just pure amazing in it. She is. Yep. Terje says, Matt Latham, I'd rather be a tool than a wrench. Well, don't worry, you can be both. Degrassi says, space whales are coming back in a big way. Oh, they're big in Japan. Matt Latham, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Dodge a ball.
That's a bold statement there, Cotton. Anyway,
it's a great movie.
Terje says to Matt, I'd rather be a tool than a wrench. Yes.
Yep.
Degrassi says, Miss Atwell is in the new Mission Impossible. Yes. Yep. Yes. And I am looking the next two, if I'm not mistaken.
Haley Atwell's awesome. Did you catch her show that was on? I think she had a show on, I think it was ABC television.
I did not. I was working nights at the time.
Yeah. I liked it. I don't think it lasted more than one season though. She played like a DA or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of lawyer stuff
it was lawyer stuff, but she was a loose cannon and she had like been and she was like into drugs and she drank too much, but she was a firecracker. And yeah, I really wanted to see that, but it came and went.
Did you see her episode of Black Mirror?
Twice.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay, so I think that does it for the chat today.
All right.
Thank you everybody in the chat. Grassy Knowles, Sergey, Matt, who am I thinking? Todd Michael, obviously. Everybody in the chat. We're nothing without the chat. We love you guys. We appreciate you coming, to the live show and engaging in that way. But I think that's going to do it for us today, Scotty. Unless you have anything else. Oh, here's a late one. Oh wait, no, there's a couple more. Here we go.
Terje says, remember the 5 Ds of dodgeball: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Agreed.
Yeah.
And then Todd Michael says, I think it sucks that the MCU has decanonized the Loeb era TV shows. Sure, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got kind of crazy, but Carter was great. Yeah.
Carter was pretty good. Yep.
And then Terje says, thanks for coming, everyone. Please do come back tomorrow. There will be cupcakes. I want to thank OST TV for being here as well. And speaking of tomorrow, don't forget we're starting a little early tomorrow.
Yes, 11 o'clock tomorrow.
PST, 2 o'clock Eastern. Yeah. And wherever your time zone is, please adjust accordingly. Degrassi says, I love those JB Shelkeys. Great run. I hope they use some of Burns' Namor take in the MCU. It burns. Yeah, it would be really, really good. And Gundle Wintelbaum, hey, thanks for being here and saying hello. Good show, fellas. Well, thanks for watching, man. Todd Michael says, Shelky, one of the best nicknames ever. Absolutely. Todd Michael says to welcome to Gundel Wintelbaum. Whittlebaum. I always add the N in there for some reason.
Okay.
No, but
so,
aside from that, I'm good, man. I think we got stuff to do later on tonight with Martinis, Gadgets, and Guns.
We do, and tomorrow, like we said, Scotty said earlier, we are going early tomorrow. Also, we have a couple of big announcements tomorrow, so don't miss tomorrow's episode. It should be a doozy.
Mm-hmm. Guttle Wintelbaum says, when are we getting the Submariner? Soon.
Soon, very soon, I believe. All right. Without down and out of the way, I think we're going to wrap up today's episode. Once again, Scotty, I love doing these shows with you, and we'll keep doing them as long as people keep coming and watching them. So for Scotty R37, I am Steve Foley. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys.